So hello, I am Gørill, and my topic should be how do geriatric nurses understand meaninglessness and existential loneliness? I have to stay there. Sorry. But unfortunately, time is running so quickly. We are busy, so they have not yet been able to finish this data collection. So therefore, we must wait for the results for that question. So instead, I want to share with you some research looking at the nurse-patient interaction, loneliness, and meaning in life among nursing home residents. Oh, something is missing. Okay. As we know, the nurse-patient interaction, we can look at it as the core of person-centered care, as well as a core of spiritual care. Because everything you do with your patient as a nurse is in an interaction with the other person. So you literally, you just turn into another life world, and you have a lot of impact. Your way of being there. As Donna Bambukina says, I love this way of expressing it. It's the being in the doing. So when we are looking at the nursing home residents, we should also look at what is the specific characteristic for this population that help us to understand and to interpret what we can see and what we observe and what we experience. So, as Sylvie already touched, moving to a nursing home results from numerous losses, illnesses, disabilities, loss of functions and social relations, and facing the end of life, all of which increases an individual's vulnerability and distress. This data that I will share with you and the results is from Norway, and these characteristics are from the Norwegian context, but I don't think it's so much different in other nursing homes in Europe, at least in Scandinavia. Because people are living longer and longer and longer. And after 80, we can see that a lot of illnesses are evolving, and the nursing home residents in Norway, it means they have 67 chronic diagnoses. And they use a lot of medication. So this is a specific vulnerable population. And loneliness and depression have been identified as a risk to emotional well-being of older people in nursing homes. So there is high age. Mean age in nursing homes in Norway is about 86, 87. I think it's the same in Sweden. Frailty. They are waiting very long to get a place. So when they come there, they'll live for now at mean 1 to 2 years. So it's really the last stop in your life. So high age, frailty, mortality, disability, powerlessness, dependency, vulnerability, poor general health, and a high symptom burden are characteristics of this population. That means a highly existential state, in your life. So consequently, this population is at a high risk of existential suffering, which involves meaninglessness and loneliness. could see the references there. And what we know from 2 Norwegian studies, that symptom severity is high. %50% to 54%, 2 different studies. Data collected in 2009 and 2018 shows that high about fatigue. Pain is also about 50%. Constipation is also high, you can see. Dyspnea, insomnia, and appetite loss, depression, anxiety, loneliness. So these are symptom severity. You can find the result from the first here in the first parenthesis is from this study, the data from 2009, and the others is from this study and this article, and the data collection in 2018. So the symptom severity seems quite stable. So we looked at the associations between how the patients in the nursing home perceive nurse-patient interaction, also the interaction with the nurses, and the association with their experience of loneliness. And we could find that this experience of the interaction with the nurses significantly related with their experience of loneliness. And in a paper which now are in review, we could show that loneliness was the most detrimental to their well-being, more than depression and anxiety, much more. And we could also show that the nurse-patient interaction has a great potential to enhance well-being. And we can state from this, informed by this study, that how we interact with our residents influence on their perceived loneliness. And the same goes for meaning in life. In a previous study, this is from the data collected in 2009, you can show a direct, significant, highly significant relation between how these people experience interaction with us as nurses and how they perceive meaning in their life in this life situation. I will not bother you with all these statistics, but this is the model, the structural equation modeling, showing significance associations. So the details for them who are interested, you find it in this article. And from the other study, data collected in 2018, we could show that how they perceive the nurse-patient interaction significantly influence our meaning in life, and also interpersonal as well as intrapersonal self-transcendence. And we can also find a significantly mediated influence, an indirect influence by interpersonal, which is the outgoing part of self-transcendence, with significant influence on how you perceive the meaning in your life. So in these 2 Norwegian samples, representing 77 different nursing homes in Norway, and about 400 residents, the nurse-patient interaction is significant to meaning in life in this living context. And we also started to check How is it with the meaning in life? Is it connected, associated with all the well-being dimensions? With emotional, social, functional, and physical well-being. And here is the model showing that perceived meaning in life has a significant influence on emotional, functional, social well-being. And you can see here a very highly significant association with physical well-being. So, informed by this, we can think that the nurse-patient interaction that we saw in the last slides has influence on meaning. So then we can perceive that by impacting on meaning in life, we can also influence on all the well-being dimensions. From this, also the physical. In a holistic perspective, which we, as a nurses, Helena and I, we are the nurses in our team. We like the holistic perspective. The human being is one. We cannot split emotions from the body. The emotions are not flying out here, or sitting here or here. They are in the body. So, of course, if you enhance the perceived meaning, it's in the body. It isn't outside flying around us. It's in the body. So in that perspective, this is meaningful. It's rational. So it's not about if the interaction is nice or not, but it's about health. It's about also physical well-being. And we could see all these symptoms that we looked at early in my speech. By this, we will influence all this. If a resident has pain and we treat them with indifference, pain will increase, anxiety will increase, fatigue will increase. We will have more tasks to do as a nurse. Yeah. So looking at the Helena's, some of her slides, the first patterns, you said that relationships were very important. And also these were important, but also when physical symptoms are relieved. So we can see that this is connecting very well. The spirit is in a body. We are spiritual being. Being on earth is to being a body. So we have to focus on both. And they will interact. The more the worse situation here, the worse it is to be a spirit in a body. So she looked at the guy who told about when he felt existential loneliness. It was when I was expelled. It feels hard in my heart. And when you are in a nursing home, which we have been, not only as a researcher, I've also been working there as a nurse and as a head nurse and so on. You see that? Because these people are very good. But they are also very wise. They have been living long. They see, they read our body language. They see very quickly if I will tell about my suffering to you or not. I can see if you will stop listening, take care of what I'm telling you or not. And that's part of the nurse-patient interaction that we often do. So that's why The layout of the existing project in nursing homes is threefold. As Jesse told about, we are working now on the conceptual section and started also in the empirical section. And the last section of this project is a practical section. How can we take care of the carers in the nursing homes? Because they are so important. They have so much power to influence, but they don't know. And they don't know how. And they are young, many of them. They are afraid of talking about, and also they kind of think it takes so much time. I try to tell them that you have the time that you have. It's about your way of being present, the time that you have. If you have 2 minutes, you can use them to see the other or not. That makes 2 different worlds, life worlds. It doesn't always take time. So, to relieve loneliness and boost meaning in life, how can we facilitate the qualities embedded in what I can call a health-promoting nurse-patient interaction in nursing homes, which is the core of personal care and spiritual care. So our aim is to create an educational package as part of this Exist Well in Nursing Home project. Oh, every time it moves.
Yeah, I changed it again.
Yeah, I also changed it many times, and I changed it this night. But every time it just moved there. Okay, it should have been here. But anyway, thank you for your attention.